I mean, when are people going to learn to leave creepy ass satanic looking books that they find in places the fuck alone? It never works out in anyone's favor. Like ever. Do these people not watch fucking movies? The Djinn is brought to us by directors David Carpenter and Justin Powell, and stars Ezra Dewey, Rob Bronstein, and Tevi Poe. We follow Dylan, a young mute boy played by Ezra Dewey, who after a horrible tragedy lives alone with his father. One night when Dewey's dad goes to work overnight, he's left alone in the apartment, and while rummaging around, he finds a mysterious book. And in the book, of course, he finds a ritual that if he performs, he can make one wish that will come true. So of course, he performs this ritual and wishes that he had a voice. When seemingly nothing happens, he says fuck it and goes on with his night. But shortly after that, things get weird. Dylan becomes trapped in his apartment. He can't get out no matter what he does. He breaks windows, they come back together, doors he tries to open, and they throw him across the fucking room. But he's not alone. Oh no, there's something else in there, because apparently when he did this ritual, he didn't read the fine print. And the fine print says, yes, you can get your wish, but only after you survive the night trapped alone with the Djinn. And the Djinn wants to murder the fuck out of you, by the way. This movie kind of came out of nowhere. I had heard about it, I guess, but I didn't really pay it much attention. I mean, how many Djinn or genie movies have we gotten? Lots of them over the years, and let's be real, not all of them have been that great. There was even a movie with this exact same title a few years ago. So you can't really blame me for thinking, okay, it's just another evil genie movie. Color me surprised that what I got was something oh so much more. This is not a big movie. About 95% of the movie takes place in one single apartment. There's also very little dialogue because most of the movie is this one kid trapped in this apartment and he's mute. Now with all that stuff going against it, I was really surprised that this movie was pretty damn good. Like really fucking good, considering it's a fucking evil genie movie, you got a character who can't talk, and it's a kid. There were some genuinely creepy ass scary moments in this movie, and very few of them are of the cheap jump scare variety. The movie does a great job of building tension and dread. It doesn't have to rely on jump scares because you've got this child that's stuck in this fairly small apartment with this creature walking around. Now the creature doesn't take the form of like a monster for most of the time. It takes the form of other dead people. So a lot of the movie is this kid running away from real people in this little apartment. And everybody knows the most terrifying monsters on Earth, bar none, are actual human beings. I think that really led to the dread factor in this movie. Had it been some like CGI monster or even like a practical makeup type of monster, I don't think it would have been as effective. Just being an actual human being, even though we know it's actually a creature, but you know, what we see is a human being, that made it all the more scary. Because we know that monsters aren't real. While yeah, they can be scary in movies, human beings and the atrocities they commit in real life make human beings on screen scarier than anything else. And the fact that they're in such a confined space, there's only so many places you can go within this little apartment, made it all the more tense as well. It was great, man. I haven't had this much of a tense experience in a movie in a long time. And Ezra Dewey as Dylan fucking killed it. This kid couldn't be more than like 10, 11, or 12, and he is awesome. You are with him every step of the way. This movie is totally his. If he didn't work, this movie would fall apart, but he totally holds it all together. He reacts in a realistic, believable way that a child, or really just any fucking person, would in this situation. When he's terrified, you absolutely believe it. He sells the shit out of this performance. I don't know what else this kid's been in, but I'm really looking forward to what he's going to be in moving forward. And on top of that, being able to convey all this emotion and terror without having a voice. He does not say anything in the entire movie, really says something about how good his performance is. When I say this movie's all him, it really is. Like 90 to 95% of the movie is just him alone in this apartment with this silent creature that looks like human beings. The movie also moves at a brisk pace. It doesn't waste any time. It gets straight to the point and go. Once the whole Djinn thing starts, which is fairly early on, it does not give you any time to breathe. It is just going 100 miles a minute. I mean, they're in like a 2-bedroom apartment. There's not a whole lot of places to go hide and breathe. The movie clocks in at just about an hour and 20 minutes, and it uses every bit of that runtime. And while the overall story is fairly simple, I mean, what I said there in my synopsis is pretty much what you get. It is superbly entertaining. This is just a really fun yet terrifying, intense movie. There's not a whole lot of traditional special effects to be had here, but the ones that we do get are all solid. You get some practical gore, nothing like too insane, but what's there is good. And you also got just a little bit of CGI in the form of some smoke that goes around the house. But beyond that, it's all creative camera work, and the way that they move the camera around this house is almost like a whole nother character. They're in a pretty confined space, and the creative ways that they use the camera to set you up for the thrills is really good. Like really, you spend the majority of this movie just really tense and tight, not knowing what's right around the next corner. And while the story, as I said, is fairly simple, the execution is awesome. Guys, at the end of the day, The Djinn was a fantastic film. I had a great time with it. It had a solid story with great execution and an awesome performance from Ezra Dewey. And some of the most tense scenes that I've experienced in quite a while. You're so tense that your asshole will pucker up and you won't shit right for a few days. And while it is a fairly simple story, the awesome execution and great performance from Dewey make it absolutely worth a rent.
All he wanted was this.
To return some videotape.
I wasn't expecting much from this one, and I was pleasantly surprised to get a great little flick here. So if you're looking for a tense, really well executed horror for the night, then check out The Djinn and you'll have a great time with it. So there it is, guys, my review of The Djinn. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Derry. Now, while I really did enjoy this movie, there was something concerning it that did bother me, and that has to do with the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer to this movie, don't watch it, because there is a part in the end of the trailer that is essentially the end of the fucking movie. Before I even saw the movie, watching the trailer, I said, that's the end of the movie right there. That kind of sucks. I don't like when trailers do that. They put shit from the end of the fucking movie there, and eagle-eyed viewers, or in this case, you don't even have to be that eagle-eyed. You look at it and you're like, I know that that's from the end of the fucking movie. Stop ruining my fucking movies, trailers. Now, I know this isn't necessarily the director's fault, because a lot of the times these trailers are cut by totally different people and different companies. A lot of the times the director doesn't even have any input on the trailer. So I don't know who to be mad at, but whoever the fuck did this trailer, I mean, come on, man. Yes, I know that image or that scene that you put in the trailer is neat imagery and all, but what the fuck? I'm not the first person to complain about this phenomenon, and I won't be the last, so I'm sure I'm just wasting my fucking breath here. They're gonna keep doing this shit for fucking ever. So I guess we'll just keep bitching about it for fucking ever too. Circle of fucking life, I guess. But anybody who decides to put a blatant end of the movie shot in their trailer, you're a fucking dickhead.